interview with Molly Ash. This is tape 4. Mrs. Ash, we were talking about your arrival in Veldafink.
We were bused after with buses sent away to Veldafink.
And what was Veldafink?
Veldafink was a camp of people who went through from all over. It was a camp for people after the war. And we got, women were living separate and men separate. And we got food brought in, cooks were cooking. We got the ration of food and bread and daily. And that's how we spent time there. We were trying to get together and to search for family. It was a beginning of coming out from the dark, from the difficult time that we had. And finding out and looking, it was a gathering and searching and all that. When I didn't came back, everybody in the camp was alert that 2 girls disappeared. So my husband came in to find out what happened. He knew my mother, what happened to his girls. And that's the first time that I met my husband.
What was his name?
Srole Kusharovich, but we changed here, so it's Sam Ash. And right after that, my sister passed away. And that's the very first time that he came in. He found out that the sister passed away. He came in to see who I am. He didn't see me up to then. And I was sleeping, and I woke up and I see a man standing here, and I looked and I went back to sleep. I was tired because the following day, what the nuns did, they put my sister for 3 days in the costume of the Catholics. And I had to organize, coming home, a young girl, coming home, trying to arrange for my sister to be able to have the funeral as religious, as Jews. So I went to Veldafink and asked to give me a couple of women to go there. And then I went to München, and I must say that the Jewish Congress helped me a lot. Soon I came in, I told them what the issue was. They left the whole office and took my sister out. And the following day I brought the women's, and that's where she is in München. That's where she is laying there to rest. I wish I could take her out.
What did you do after that?
We were kind of trying to recuperate. We were all broken up. Finding out the truth and all that was a lot to swallow. And being not into good health too. We're all going through hunger for so many years, going back. It's kind of, it was an adjustment to do.
What type of finding out the truths, as you say, what type of truths were you finding out?
I didn't know they were guessing people. I didn't know all the time. It was something new. And I just searching for the family, searching for everybody. I was busy searching for my sister too. Everything come to a head like. It's like at first was guessing, but learning the truth, it's still a little bit harder.
At what point did you try to rebuild your life?
No, I didn't try. I didn't try. It just happened. I just didn't try. I didn't think of nothing like that, no. I am missing a lot in my life, a whole chapter. You grow up overnight, it doesn't work like that. I was still very much a child. But I'm lucky. I met a nice man, my husband, and I was lucky to be able to adjust very well.
When did you get married?
We got married in Germany.
When?
and in January the 15th. Actually, there's a whole story about that too.
Would you tell me about your wedding?
Okay, I can do that. We're supposed to get married in Christmas time. My husband was a chauffeur, bringing food for the whole camp, going in and bringing food. And I was preparing to get married, baking and making things. And my husband says he's gonna go to Stamberg. It's not far, one station away from Veldafink. He's gonna get some beer. When I come in there, my mother says it's not good that a groom should go. You have to watch. It's not good. You stay home and don't go. But he said he wants to bring beer, so he went there with a man. And he said, "Come on, I'm going to get some products to mention on the way, pick up beer from Stamberg." So my husband, my fiancé, went there. As he was going in there were Ukrainians working there. And they asked for cigarettes. And my husband and the other guy said, "We don't have any cigarettes." So he said, "You don't want to give me cigarettes?" He says, "No." So what they did when they went out, they put a package there, an extra package. The package was brillantin that you put on hair to make it shine, brillantin, or you call it differently here, VO5 or something like that. You know what I mean. So when they come out, there were Americans staying there, and they were checking if he has the same order. And the boys called in that he has brillantin. To them, it means diamonds. Brillantin, brillant. Oh, so they put him in jail. My husband ended up in the biggest jail in München with the other guy, and it was our wedding. Can you imagine what I went through until we went to lawyers with all that? There was, because of the pronunciation of the brillantin, there was so much diamonds. So we got married at a later date, but it was not at all what we planned. It was kind of quiet. January the 15th.
And tell me about that wedding day.
There's nothing to tell. It was so simple. There was nobody there to be there for you. Can I tell you? I was hoping when we're going to be 50 years that I will make a big party. But my husband has not survived to be able to do that. No, there's nothing to talk about the wedding. The Sally came for the 25th with another friend, and they had to go back because my husband was in jail. But they released him without a court because the judge realized a day before that was a silly thing that was put in, so they released him. So we got married right after that. And my husband had family in the States and here. I lost everybody. I have no family, except my mother survived. No aunts, nobody. I'm just like a lost sheep, not belonging to anybody.
Did you go back to your hometown in Lodz after the war?
No, I have nothing. What makes a town? A town makes the people who you have there, who live. That makes a town, that makes a house to be lived. To go and see the house, see the apartments that I live, the streets that I was walking, it's so cold. The people make it warm. No, it's nothing for me to go to see.
What plans did you make for your future after you got married?
I was just happy being alive, and no plans. No plans. I didn't even know what the future will hold, how it will be.
How long did you stay in Veldafink for?
Until I had my baby, probably will be a year and a half.
What did you do during that time in the DP camp? Did you work?
No, nobody worked, no. My husband was just bringing food for the whole camp he was bringing. I had a room as small as my little kitchen here. And we had one single bed, we both slept, and then I had a baby, we had a little crib. And the room, it was difficult to get a room because everybody was in camp, but when you married, you wanted to be on your own. And it was difficult to get somewhere place. This was, a friend told me, this was the place where the people who lived in the whole house had the storage room, so you can imagine how big it was. And it wasn't heated, and it was cold, and I had a baby. We had a whole night to be up and to push off coal in a little oven to keep it warm. No diapers, no clothes, too much to change, and that's how I left for the States. I landed immigrants in the States. My husband has their uncles.
What's the name of his family in the States?
Ash. They all changed the name to Ash, original Usharovich. And my husband has two sisters in Canada and uncles too. So after being in the States, we came for a visit to Canada. Canada didn't allow it at the time in couples and with children too, so we couldn't come in. But after a while, the law has changed, and we never went back to the States.
Did you like it when you arrived in the States?
It was too much for me coming from, it was too noisy, too loud, too fast pace. It was difficult to adjust. I liked it when I came to Canada, Toronto, I liked it.
What did you like about Toronto?
It was quieter. It was, and I think the family, having family was very important to us. We felt warm and comfortable, something that will last. And I think I am very close with the relatives, and I feel part with them, so I felt good.
Which relatives?
My husband's relatives.
What are their
sisters,
names?
two sisters.
And their names are?
Baila Leiber, and the other sister is Minnie Kaplan, but they're not survived. They're dead, both of them. My sister-in-law passed away last year, Minnie Kaplan.
When you arrived in Toronto, did you talk to anybody about your experiences?
I would like to. It was fresh in a memory. But for some reason, nobody wanted to listen to us. I don't know. Was it to spare us sorrow, or is it, I don't know. They didn't want to listen. We were ready to talk. I think all our life, this was the dream to fulfill, is to tell everything what was going on. But after 50 years, you just don't want to think it. It's deep, and it's a wound that you never want to open again. You try to keep busy with the daily things, with the kids you have in the family, and keep that door closed. It's too painful. The time doesn't heal it. No.
What type of work did you do when you came to Toronto?
I came with a baby. My husband was working. The uncles were also in the painting and decorating. I was helping out in other ways, like taking the information for work they called and things like that, but not going to work.
How did you spend your time?
With the kids, very much family-oriented. My whole life with the kids and the grandchildren and the family. That fulfills all my dreams, and I'm thankful for that.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren.
Who are your children? What are their names?
It's Rochelle, now it's Saken, and Harvey Ash, and Gloria Sugar. But they're all married and have children.
How has your experiences from the war affected the way you raised your children?
Overprotective. Always more worried maybe than somebody else. Very much overprotecting, I would say, most of all. I think they have the same feeling, I think so. But I think if I notice this generation, it maybe changed a little bit. No, all of them like that, even the youngest one. Yeah.
Have your experiences in the war affected your life? The way you practice your religion, the way you live?
Has not changed. I'm still religious. I still think that God didn't do those things, only bad people. And He didn't make them do, in spite of all that. And I think people can do all kind of bad things. It's just like any other animal, if the situation calls for it.
Why did you want to share your story with us?
I want to share the story for one reason, that it should be because I, even being there, I could not imagine that one person could do something awful to another one in days where the people are more intelligent. They're not barbarians like years ago. I like to do it because it shouldn't be denied. And I think it should be a lesson learned there too, that if somebody is in trouble, we should all go and help. We let the Germans too far go, giving too much into them, and they become stronger and stronger. So this itself is a lesson. If we remember the lesson well, that it won't be repeat. But it's hardly to say. It still goes on. Nothing has changed. And I don't know. There's so many things. I just can't think of that right now. I want to leave something for the family. If there's still doubts coming out that things like that could happen, even when I'm alive, a witness, and I can tell them. There's still coming up people and telling straight to your face that there was not concentration camps, there was nothing like that. So I want to speak for the people who couldn't. That's my main aim. It must be a reason that I survived to tell. Otherwise, they would kill all of us. They had a plan, but we were not aware of it. And I think that the world, I can understand why they didn't bomb the concentration camps, the tracks and things like that. They knew about that. And I think the Jewish blood is still cheap.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ash, for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you for listening. I know if by listening it's not so pleasurable for you to go through that with me, but I do appreciate that you listening, and I do like to thank you for having the opportunity of telling the story. This is pictures of my grandparents, Mordechai Silberstein and Masha Silberstein. They were done in the 1930s, as I remember them.
Where?
In Poland, in Lodz. On the left is my mother, Dora Morocco. Next to her is my little sister, Goldie, Genya, and that's me, and that's my father. The picture was done in the 1930s in Poland, in Lodz.
What's your father's name?
Yosef. On the left is my uncle, Maya Silberstein. I met him, he came in 1938. He lived all his years in Vienna, and he left because of the Germans. And next to him is his sister, my aunt, Chava Leibovich, And by the way, those pictures I received from Israel from my aunt. This is the picture of my husband's family. It was done in the 1920s, late the 1920s. The pictures I got from my sister-in-laws who were living here in Toronto. On the left we have Toba, my in-laws, Miss Ruchalaya. Next is my husband, my father-in-law, Chaim, and in the front of him is Sarah. Next to him is Pearl, Roiza on the left, and then is Baila, who was here in Toronto living, and her husband Shia in Toronto. And that's my husband when he was younger. By the way, all of them were sent to Treblinka except my sister-in-law, Baila and Shia. All of them were sent to Treblinka. This is a document from the DP camp, Feldafing, where I was there and met my husband there.
What year?
In 1945. In 1945. This is a document from Auschwitz telling me that according to the information, they were looking and they can't find any answer where my father disappeared after being sent to Auschwitz. I searched for many, many years, and then I turned to Auschwitz. This is my last thing, that searching for answers where my father is. It was sent to me in 1992 from Auschwitz direct. The papers are disappeared, and they don't have records because the Germans destroyed most of the papers. But I know that it's the last time that I saw them there. This is a document which I received from the Red Cross after asking where exactly is the place where my sister München is. They contact me with that paper, which it tells me that my sister passed away August 18, 1945. She lays in rest in München, in Munich. Her name is Golda, Morocco. She was only 19 years old then. This picture is my husband's sister, Baila, and the family. On the left is her daughter, Sheila, and her husband, my husband's sister, Shia Leiber, and the son, Willy Leiber. And that's the family that greeted us so very warmly when we came to Toronto. This is my husband's sister, Minnie Kaplan. That's the picture was taken on our arrival here. Next to her is Ellen, husband Bernard, and Shirley Kaplan. That's the family that I met in Toronto, which very warm accepted us. This is a very old picture of my friend Sala Rosenberg, now Sala Birenzweig. This is a picture when we both separated, going different ways, leaving Feldafing. It was in 1946. I will always remember this. This is a picture of me and my mother, Dora Gottheil. The picture before I was leaving with the little baby, leaving for United States. The baby was only a few months old. It was done in Feldafing. This is the picture of me and my husband. It was done in 1985. My husband went through concentration camp just like me, and he's from Pietrków Trybunalski in Poland. And we both met in Feldafing, and he passed away in 1990, May 1926, after a long struggle with cancer. I will always cherish his memory. On my left is Carly. It's my youngest granddaughter, who wears the name of my beloved husband. May he rest in peace. And her mother, Gloria. Her husband, Perry, who could not make it to be with us. And this is the son, Michael. Next to me is Rochelle, my oldest daughter. Her husband, Paul. Behind is Deborah. And Suzanne is on my right, the last one there. Behind me is my son, Harvey, his wife, Ellen, Andrew, and Rebecca. What I can say is, that is my family. That's my strength, what keeps me going. And when I think of the tough times, and I look at my family, it gives me lots of strength and happiness.
I'd like to tell you, Mother, how proud we are of you. We've always been proud of you. And we know this was very difficult for you to do, to recall some of those difficult times that you've been through.
Thank you.
But I think what you've done was really important. I'm glad that you undertook it. And I only wish that that Dad had been here too, because I know he'd have been anxious to participate and that he would have had a lot to offer.
Sure.
Oh, that's it. One
That's
person.
it? That's it. Thanks a lot for helping me to go through it.